Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing great. So, in our last videos, we have created an Angular app, a basic Angular app, and then we have created a .NET API, basically a .NET Core based API, and we have also created a schema in MS SQL Server. Now we are going to integrate our backend API in our Angular app, so we can make our Angular app dynamic. So having said this, in this video we are going to integrate both these and will consume the API. Okay, before proceeding with my current video, I'd like to highlight one thing. Basically, my focus in my videos is to make things work. Is to let you know how we can create big apps or bigger projects rather than just focusing on a specific feature. Like if you want to create Angular, .NET, or any specific thing. So I'm not that concerned regarding a specific piece of code, but I am concerned and I will be focusing on creating an end-to-end project where you can develop your skill as a developer and you can actively contribute towards developing a project and in parallel you can try things out on your own to create a somewhat similar project. So this will help you gain professional experience as well as get to know an idea how we can create certain things and integrate each and everything to make it working. So in case if you feel that I am not explaining anything in very much detail, so please do leave a comment so I can be more comprehensive in the new videos, the upcoming videos. So feel free to leave a comment. And if you like my videos, feel free to subscribe and as well as like this video and share this video. So this will help me improve my content. So without further ado, let's move to what we have developed so far. Okay, so this is our Angular app. So let me see if I have opened the terminal. So let's just do one thing. Uh, Let me just close it for you so we can do it from it. Okay, I'm going to run npm start. And in the meantime, I'll see API is already running. So let me just open this up. So you can see this was our Angular app. And one thing which I just did, let me just revert that one. So we can have a, just let me do revert this change. Okay, so this was our Angular app, and we have created these components, and all are static as of now. So is this data is static. So in parallel, what we have created our backend API on this port. This is running on 7022 port, and this is running on 4200 port. So this is the data we are retrieving from our backend .NET Core API. Okay, so this data was here, and we will try to consume it and show it within the this post. So our prime focus will be this post component. So let's move to the Angular app. And so in previous video, we have created this field component and this was our post component, but we do not have anything over here. This is just a default post component. So in our feed component, as this post component will be nested within this. So let me just get hold of this sample post, cut it from here and post it here. So now you can see I have this post over here, and if I can quickly show you, you can't see any post here. The reason is we haven't included anything uh, in the feed as of yet. So let me just add, as we have moved this HTML, so let's just add app.post post component. So let's just add it, and now you can see the post has started appearing a bit distorted. The reason is the CSS. We will see to it later. So moving forward, this is one thing. Now, as we need to use or consume that API that we have created, so we need a HTTP client. So in Angular, there are like different modules. We need to import HTTP module to get hold of that data from the API. So let's create a service. Basically, services, the reason we used to create services is to do some interaction with an HTTP call or any other thing which are not specific to a component. So let's just create a service. Let me just open a new terminal, and I'm going to use ng command again. This time I'm going to use G is for generate and S is for service. We want this service to be created within the services folder. As you can see, we have a services folder right now, so but do not have anything inside it. And then we are going to create the post service, and for now we are going to skip the test. The reason for skipping the test is that we don't want any test files to be created as of now, because our prime focus is to create the service. So let's just create it, and it will take a while. Hopefully it will be created soon. I'm expecting this. So you can see over here a post service have been like created. What I'm going to do over here, I need to inject an HTTP client over here, the concept called dependency injection. I'll discuss that in detail if you or I might create another video regarding that. But as of now, just think of dependency injection as like whenever this piece of code do require this like a specific module or service, this is injected by the application within this. So we need to have an HTTP client over here, HTTP, HTTP client. One thing I think it's wrong. HTTP client. So just one thing I did, like I have injected this HTTP client, and by adding this, you can see an Angular is adding a HTTP client over here. And what else I need to do? I need to provide a specific API. So let me just write a string for API. Okay, so let's just create a string having API URL. So API URL that we are going to consume, it's going to be, let me just copy it. Just give me a minute. Let me just copy it. Okay, we have this one and we have this one. So this is our API. I'll be trimming the URL till where we need this. So you can see I'm pasting it till here, because for that post thing, we will be adding it inside the call. So this is one thing. And what we need to do in the post service, we need to get the post. You can see we need to call the HTTP client. So let me just write a get post function. And over here, you can see let me just do it for you, like return. We are going to return the data from the HTTP client. This means the HTTP client that we have injected over here, and we need to get API URL and the post from that. So this is how we are going to retrieve it. And let me see why say so API URL does not exist. Okay, So what I was doing wrong, I've been trying to use that specific keyword. So just we need to keep this private API URL, and this URL is going to be consumed here in our post. So having said that, so we have our service over here, and we are going to consume that service in our component. So this service have been like created. Let me just go to the feed component, because feed component is the one who is going to consume this service, and then this component is going to provide the subsequent post to the post component. So there is a hierarchy. I'll be quickly showing that to you. Don't feel overwhelmed as of now. Okay, so in our feed component class, we are going to define an array of I would say posts, and then I would say like any. And I'll keep it that way, array of posts, so you can see. So let me just keep it this way. It's an empty array. So we have defined like post array of like type any. It could contain anything like a string or integer, and it might contain the JSON as well. So the JSON that we are going to return is going to be part of this. Then we are going to create a I would say error message, and I'll keep it as a string, and it is going to be an empty string. So this is going to be an error message to display whenever we came across any error. So let's move to the constructor then. Let's add a constructor to inject services. So you can see, let me just add a constructor, and over here why we are going to inject the post service, because the post service that we have created do have the call to the HTTP client. So when we are going to create that post service, we are going to create this feed component. This post service will be injected. When this post service will be injected, we'll be able to call it and retrieve the data, and we will be saving over here in the post. And when we are going to do it, there's a function called ng-on in it. So let's just consume it on the ng-on in it. We aren't going to call it on inside the ng. We'll be creating a specific function, but let's just call ng-on in it. This is the reason when this component is going to be initialized, this is going to get called. And let's just create a function name get posts. So let's just create function to get the post, and this get post function is going to eventually, let me just don't add this. I want to do it step by step rather than using the IntelliSense. So okay, so we are going to call the post service that we have injected, and within that post service we have created a function to retrieve the posts. And one function that whenever we create a specific service and function, so we usually subscribe to that. So let's just subscribe for the time being. If you are not that much aware of how subscribe work, just focus on how things are getting connected. Don't focus too much on how specific things and the explanation of this thing. So don't worry on that part. So we are going to call this post service. I think it's complaining. So let's see, have we created that post function over there? Get posts. So seems like that was the only problem. Okay. So this is going to call this and subscribe. It's suggesting to, but for the time being, we are keeping it intact. Let's see what it's suggesting. Let's try to see. So let me just remove this altogether. Let me try another way. Uh, there is a subscribe. Let me just do it that way. So next is called when we receive a response. So think of this being just, let me just, so we are going to receive a response and then we are going to consume like this dot post. What we are doing whenever like we call the post service method and that method do return some data. So we are assigning that response to our local post method without, sorry, post variable. I'll showcase that to you. And for the error, if there is any error, so we will show that error message. So this is the way we have like created this post thing. Let's try to see if it works or not. This is like we have done it in a very simple manner, but there could be a possibility. There might be some. Okay, so you can see over here, nothing is working. And it says like HTTP client is not being injected. So while you will be working on these type of apps, you will face so many things like that. So these are such type of blockers which keeps you demotivated, and sometimes you are not able to proceed further as again in a specific milestone. So let's see what it is. What it is trying to do. Okay, before proceeding further, just let me tell you, if you are new to it, if you ever feel issues or face issues on this Angular app, you have to go to console by like pressing F12. You will be opening the developer tool, and then you need to go to console to see if any error is there, because it's like not allowing anything to be rendered. So let's go to our app, and over here in the app, because we have created this app from a latest version, so within this app we won't find any module.ts. Previously we used to have module.ts, but this is creating a standalone component, so it is going to have app.component.ts. So there's one file app.ts app.component.ts, and the second one is app.config.ts. What we need to do, we need to provide a router for HTTP client. HTTP, let me just HTTP client, provide HTTP client. Okay, so with this, uh, we have added this, and this provide HTML will help us get hold of that HTTP client. So let's see if it adds something. So you can see over here, we are able to pass through, and that have been resolved, but still the data is uh, I would say, dummy data. And one more issue we are facing, like access to HTML, X, XML HTTP requests at this URL from this origin have been blocked by CORS. It seems like it's not a, uh, it basically is a policy. CRS is cross origin request. So what actually happens from one application which is working on a specific domain. Currently, we're working with ports, but in actual scenario, there is one domain on which your Angular app would have been hosted, and there might be a possibility you are consuming the .NET app on a different domain. So for that reason, uh, we need to enable this policy within our .NET app. So let's just open our .NET app. Let's go what we need to do. So for the sake of clarity, I have the code with me. At times it happens like you don't remember the exact piece of code. So sometime you have to refer to that. So it's not an issue. So I'll type it that for you just to explain what actually happens. So in our builder services, we need to like add course and we need to add options to it. Why? Because within that add course, what sort of options we need to add, what sort of policy and what headers or what methods are going to be allowed. So that's what we are going to do. So it allows us to add a method like add options, and within the options, like we can like add a policy. We are going to name it like policy name. You can say like allow Angular client, and after defining the name, we are going to like add the policy, and within that policy again we'll mention what that policy looks like. So policy like with origin, what does this with origin do? It allows our Angular apps like the local host and 42,000 to call with any headers, like allow any headers are being posted within the headers, and then allow any method could be like you can say the method can be any HTTP or post. So with this being done, we have within our builder.services we have added that, and to make it working we need to do like before authorization, let's do one thing, app dot use course. So we have to do this as well. So let's try to rebuild our app and let's see how it works. Okay, one thing I think I've missed. So that was to use course which policy. Let's see. So I figured out the issue, basically what I was doing wrong. One thing which I've already done that, if you might have noticed that that was the policy name. But one thing which I was doing incorrect was this. So it wasn't allowing me. So after removing this to this, like the only giving this domain, or I would say the local host with the port. Now you can see that we will be able to, if I can quickly show you, we are not able, we aren't getting any errors over here. So the call for to this is getting somehow invalidated, but at least we are not getting that. Let me just open it a new tab, and if it's post or post, okay, we are considering one thing wrong, so I'll just correct it up. Within this call, the API, the services call at the back end, it's just post. So let's just reload that. Let me just go to that. So you can see over here, this is just a resource not being found because we do not have it in the assets folder or anywhere. So, so far we are able to consume our API. Now we need to quickly show it over here. So let me just do one thing. For this, we need within the post, we need to have an input property. So let me just open the post within the feed. What does an input property do? Like in our case, this feed component is retrieving the data and it's setting this to a post variable within this feed component class. But we need to pass this data down to our feed component. Like over here in this HTML, you can see we have created a feed component, sorry, the post component, but we need to pass the data from this to this. So for this, we will see how we can do it. So one thing we need to do is to, and one more thing to let you know that within our feed, there would be multiple posts. So we will be having more than one post. So it's not just one post. So we need to use a sort of an ng for and then we need to iterate over all these contents to display. So this is our post component. And let me just do one thing, go to this one and type an input property like input. Let me just input, and this is going to be post and any. So this is something which is going to be received. Let me just try to fix why it's complaining. So there might be some import issue. So let's see. So you can see over here within the Angular core import, input is have been like imported. So what we can do with this, like I'll quickly show you this import, what we are going to do over here within our HTML, as we are like already aware that I'm just going to do one thing, like we were aware that our post object is going to have content. So let's just keep it that way. Still, it's not going to display this because we haven't set that property from the feed. And over here in the feed, okay, so we need to provide multiple like posts. So we are going to use ng for, and then it is allowing us to like let post of post. So why it's saying so, let's just do, and then what we are going to do for the input property which we have defined, we are going to pass this post over here. So let me just quickly explain this to you. This is the this is our post component, which is a sort of a child or nested component. And within this, we have created a for loop to provide this content. So let's see if it works. So you can see there is an issue with the ng for. So we do need to like import ng for as well. And where we are consuming it, which within the feed. So we need to find a way to call like ng4 as well. So give me a minute. We need to import. So let's see if it works. Okay, the content is not getting rendered. So let me just see what are we going to receive over here. Okay, again, we did one thing very wrong in a sense, like this post.content will be treated as an HTML. So we need to provide these like curly braces to treat this being a like variable, and this is going to pull this out. So let me just go to the page and see. Okay, so you can see over here, like my first post content have been pulled. So what we have done so far, we are able to consume our backend API in our Angular app with like minimal effort. We just consumed this one. I'll be modifying further, but to the to achieve what we require, we have done that. We called our API, we have added CRS in our API to allow the Angular to call that API. We have created a service, and then we have done calling this. So far, hopefully you are able to grasp over here till here what I have done. So in case you have any questions or you feel like something is being missed out or it's not really well explained, so keep me posted. I'll be posting another video and we'll be reviewing these things in detail if someone asks for that. And otherwise, I'll be proceeding further doing further things that I plan to do over here, like doing user authentication and other things, and doing some CSS stuff. So hopefully you have enjoyed that. So till then, uh, take care and bye. And don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like and share. Thank you. Bye.